This looks nice, this house. So we're bringing Gila upstairs for pictures of.
Yeah, so when the event is done, she's going to come upstairs, and everybody will be able to take pictures with her.
Nice, looks good.
Thornhill, our MPP, who's everyone loves her here in Thornhill, Gila Mato. Our regional councillor at the head table, Mr. Jim Jones. I have to say something about Jim. He is the top guy for York region when it comes to the best transit network system that we need in Markham and in the GTA. So you'll be seeing him very busy with York region. He's working very hard for that network system. So I'm so proud to work for him. Tomorrow he's going to fire me. I'd like to welcome our regional councillor on table number 3, that's Nirmala Armstrong. Nirmala Armstrong is at the border of the blue tent. So welcome Nirmala. Our councillor for Ward 4, Karen Rhea from Markham. And if you want someone to fight for you on council, there's Karen. We have a very loved and moral and very sweet lady who is our councillor for Thornhill, Valerie Burke. So sitting right here on the table, we have all levels of government at this Victorian Tea Room, which is really great. I want to also welcome Galen Flaherty. Thank you very much, Galen, for coming over today. People don't know who you are, so I think people have to see you. Just announcement, the mayor of Stouffville is on his way. I told him if he doesn't put his chain on, don't come. So he's gone back to put his chain. We also have to welcome, I just wanted to make sure that everyone here is special. So Ed Eves, Dr. Ed Eves is all the way from Burlington. He's also the cousin of Ernie Eves and the classmate of Gila Mato. So we have a lot of doctors here. Yeah, Colin Gray, one of the best CAs you'll ever find, I think. And he is from Burlington and lots of family in Sudbury. So we do have a lot of members in Sudbury that we can bring forward to join this blue tent again. And of course, Tom. Tom is very, very well known, as I heard, on energy. And apparently you come from the riding of Kathleen Wynne. She didn't listen to you. So Tom will be an asset for Ontario, I think. And today he really wanted to meet Christine. So Tom has come all the way to meet with you. So welcome, Tom. And Mr. Brian McGee. Brian McGee is from Raywall Kitchens. He's the president. And he's now the younger brother of Jim Jones. Table number 1. Gila's husband's supposed to be here. I think he didn't come in, right, Gila?
He'll be here any minute.
Yeah, any minute. And of course, I already welcomed Gila. There's Tilda Rowe. I guess Tilda's a lawyer, right, Tilda? Yes. And she works along with Mark Greenstein. They're also Thornhill lawyers and big supporters for the Conservative Party, so welcome. And talking about Gila's husband, here you go. Give a warm welcome for coming late. We have Don McFarlane, one of our big supporters and a member for the Conservative Party in Thornhill, and his wife Eileen McFarlane. So welcome, Don. Don used to be a big supporter for me in the EDA of the Markham Thornhill, but it didn't work out well, so Don quit, and I don't have a friend there. There's Catherine Zing. Welcome, Catherine. I'm very happy to see you. And there's Charmina. You keep jumping from table to table, so I'm not sure which table you are supposed to be in. Charmina is from the Iranian community, and she is working very hard for the International Canadian Human Rights. Got it right. So Charmina is very busy, so thank you for coming, Charmina. Anyone I left out on table number 1, except for our best, is the last Gordon Landon, 31 years in Markham Council. So give him a big hand. Gordon Landon now retired, and he is going on a one-way ticket to the moon, I guess, right? No, Gordon was, no, just kidding. Gordon is a good friend of all. Everyone is my friend, so I can say what I want to say, right, God? Then I have table 2. There is, CS is late, so CS was supposed to come in and he hasn't come in yet. Joseph Kim. Joseph Kim is the president for the Korean Community Federation of Canada, and the vice president Soon Young Lee is also and I'm happy to be the board of directors for that organization. Mr. Balan. Balan is from the Tamil Conservatives for Canada. He's from the riding of Scarborough Southwest. I'm going to randomly say names because everybody started switching tables. There's Isaac. Isaac is someone that I'm so proud of. Where is Isaac?
Hi.
Isaac is a big volunteer. He's a strong conservative. I call him my son because he is very close to me. And Isaac is an RCMP officer, which I'm so proud of. And he's from the Korean community. And Isaac, every time he comes down to Toronto, he visits me. So thank you, Isaac, for coming in.
By training, and I went to school with Ed, was in my class. So how small a world is that? We haven't seen each other since our reunion a few years back. So I want to welcome everybody, and I want to thank Marlene for hosting once again an event to help out Conservatives, to help out community people. Marlene is always helping out. In fact, I mentioned Marlene's name to somebody who wants to set up a BIA, a Business Improvement Association for the area, and I said, well, why don't you go speak to Marlene? And they said, oh, I've already spoken to Marlene. So she's really a force to be reckoned with, and I want to thank her. Now we're all here for my colleague Christine. Christine and I serve in the PC caucus at Queen's Park, and we have been on the social policy committee together. She's been busy traveling around the province, so I've been forced to step up to the plate, and hopefully I haven't embarrassed her too much in that capacity. Christine, as we all know, is professional. She's engaging. She's community-minded. And she really is somebody who gets people to work well together. So I'm really happy to offer her my support whatever I can. There was an article, I believe it was just today, unless I'm reading the newspaper a day too late, I believe it was the National Post, that spoke about the times have changed, and it's actually an advantage now to be a woman politician. If everything else is equal, a woman gets about 10% more, which we all know is enormous. 1% can win elections. So here we have somebody who's going to be the next leader of the PC party, and she just happens to be not just a woman. She reminds us all of the girl next door, but really the lawyer next door, and a bit of that sort of quality of somebody who you'd like to have for your neighbor, and I think you'd all agree with me. Why women? Well, one of the quotes that the article mentioned from one of the so-called experts was they know how to get things done, and Christine, we all know, is a great multitasker and definitely able to get things done. And we all know that anybody who survived having triplets and looks as good as Christine does is definitely somebody who is a force to be reckoned with. So the next part of the article was they mentioned local politicians. And I think Christine is really what we call a local politician, meaning she understands the everyday problems of the everyday person. And I think that that's what local really means, is understanding the neighborhood, understanding the challenges, and I'm really looking forward to being part of the PC caucus with Christine leading us to victory in the next election. So thank you very much for
coming here tonight, and I really wanted to thank Marlene. I don't know if you know, but ever since Marlene came into this particular area, the whole area has improved. So she has really helped the businesses. And I just also wanted to say how honored I am to be here tonight to be with you, Christine, and I wish you all the best. And Thank you very much for inviting me.
Well, anyway, welcome to Thornhill, Christine. And I think that in, 5 months, in May, I think the Conservative Party will be well served if you are our leader. What has been disappointing as a Conservative is when you see every election over the last 2 or 3 that we were kind of out in front, and somehow we blew it. But I think this time we have a person that is humble, a person that is sincere, and a person that cares. And also she's articulate, and intelligent, and smart. And I'm willing to work with Christine. My passion and love is transit and a competitive economy. And one of the things in the last municipal election, the smart track of John Tory, I called it iMetro E. I had to put a date on my brochure when I created it, because every time I'd open it up they say that's John Tory's. But what is really nice is that we're going to implement it, and Conservatives are going to work together. And I think that what the Conservative Party has to do is, in the last election they got 6 out of 81 seats in the urban area, and there's going to be 18 or 19 more seats in the next election. So that means almost 100 seats in urban areas. And I think the Conservatives have to demonstrate that they know how to win in the urban areas. And I think a person like Christine leading the party, I think we have a great chance at doing that and attracting good candidates. So I wish you all the best. I had at my fundraiser, I got to be honest, at my fundraiser I had Patrick Brown, who, when back in 2000 when sort of Joe thought that he had too many members in the Ontario caucus of the Federal Party, he removed me from caucus, and one of the guys that came to my rescue was Patrick Brown. So that's my reason for my loyalty to Patrick. But I also, the first time I met Jim, her husband, was in a golf tournament, and I've grown to love the Flaherty family, and I'm looking forward, even before she gets elected, to work with her on the transit file. So anyway, I wish you all the best, and I know that you will in the next 4 years you will be the next premier of the province. Thank you.
Thank you, Marlene, and hello everybody. Thank you so much for pulling us all together on a chilly winter evening. You know, every day Ontarians wake up wondering and hoping when they will get competent, rational, honest leadership in this province. I know many in this room, like myself, are still suffering from the whiplash that we experienced on election night when Ontarians once again gave a pass to a government that has accumulated so many negatives and broken so many promises over the last several elections. Christine is a fierce Conservative, and I think you all know that, but she's also a happy Conservative, a compassionate Conservative, a rational Conservative, and she has the leadership qualities that can guide our provincial party once and for all through the minefield that an election campaign represents. We need to convince Ontarians that we are certainly fiscally responsible and care very much about the way their tax dollars are spent, the way security and safety is provided to communities, the way education is provided in this province. But at the same time, we have to be civil, even with those that we disagree with. We have to be reasonable in our campaign promises, and we have to be honest with people about what they can expect, even in times of fiscal challenge, of economic challenge. Christine, I believe, is not only the great hope for our party, but she is the great hope for this province. And in the 3 long years before Ontarians get another chance to select a new government with the values that we all share and that in the end all Ontarians share. Christine, I believe, will lead the PC caucus in Queen's Park, hold this government accountable for all the mistakes it has made and continues to make, almost on a daily basis. We see egregious decisions being made. Gila and I just came from the swearing in of 3 new Superior Court judges in Brampton. One of them, and the reason we were there is because a great Thornhiller, a friend of many in this room, Simon Bloom, Ivan Bloom, has been named to the Superior Court. And in speaking to the assembled congregation, the Chief Justice pointed out that the government, the provincial government, has once again made a grievous error. She didn't characterize it quite that way, but she was very clear in that they have decided against the portable courthouses that are required across this province, particularly in the GTA, in terms of a longer-term commitment to build some additional courthouses. But in the meantime, the process of justice is being obstructed by a backlog of cases, and Toronto cases, GTA cases, York Region cases are having to be heard as far away as Kitchener. So that's just one example of what we need to correct. And I'm here, and I'm a committed supporter of Christine in this race. There are some other wonderful candidates. They're good PCs, but I'm convinced that Christine is the one to lead our party back to power and to lead Ontario back to the prosperity that this province so richly is entitled to expect.
So I'm happy to be here and happy for the invite. I got elected into Markham to make some change, which is what I've already started to do. I think that's what the Conservative Party needs. Christine, you're there for change. And I think with you elected that you will turn around the Conservative Party and put us back where we need to be. So thank you, good luck, and Marlene, thank you.
Thank you very much. Christine, I have to tell you, you miss one important thing about your qualities. As a lawyer, you have the legal training. You are able to assess, analyze, and articulate, and that is a key to you winning in the leadership. So I know when I was running, that's what I said. As a lawyer with 20 years of experience, I'm able to do that. So with all your hard work that you have done, and I have been, my husband and I have been following you, as well as the late Mr. Jim Flaherty, and I just want you to know that we admire what you do, and it's going to be an exciting election. Why? Because when Christine wins the leadership, there are going to be 3 women running for premier. 3. NDP, Liberal, Conservative. That's going to be history in its making. In City of Markham, we had history in the making. We elected 4 women onto council. Valerie Burke, Karen Ray, myself, and Amanda. So I just want you to know, and I wish you all the best, because as Marlene said, I'm a strong supporter in women in politics, and you will shine. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Marlene, for hosting such successful event. And Marlene has been my good friend for many years. She always inspired me for her hard work, and everything she wants to do, she can make it happen. And well, it's actually my great pleasure to be here to support Christine. And when the former financial minister Jim Flaherty passed away, it was that I was tearing, and I think we Canadians owe Jim Flaherty a lot. Now it's our time to support Christine, to carry Jim Flaherty's legacy. So I wish you the best. You'll be wonderful. You'll be a wonderful premier.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am a kid of 75 years old. They will not believe me. After my arrival to Canada in the year 2000, till date, I am promoting all our ethnic groups of community, social, cultural, philosophical, spiritual events, including politicians, by having special interview in all Tamil papers. Being a media person, I owe my due respect to Elliott. She loves me like anything, as one of her own family members. So when I see all of her beautiful, attendees today evening, I'm really surprised how such a nice lady has got more influence in politics. She's going to become a member of parliament in the future, I hope so, with all your good support. Today being a good occasion of introducing Christine, she became to next Premier of Canada. I heartily pray God to bless her to get all success with peace, harmony, prosperity, pleasure and whatnot. I am from South India. I am from Pondicherry, it's a French colony. After coming to Canada, I learned the difference between the politics of India and Canada. Here are only 5 parties. I'm sorry, I'm taking only a few minutes, madam. Here are only 5 parties, not like India. In India, each state has got each one parties. Everything bribery. They cheat the public. Here, the government deserves justice, justice, justice. That's why Christine highlighted how we should do things to the people. We are not Mahatma Gandhi, we are not Mother Teresa, but serving to man, service to God. So let the service be continued with the grace of God to become the Premier with all your good support. Give a big hand. I am very grateful for having given me this opportunity and extend my greetings to all of you. Thank you, madam. Thank you all.
Thank you, Marlene. It's my pleasure to be here as one of you. And there are a lot of rumors going on in our ethnic communities. Some frontline runners are saying that all the ethnic communities are supporting so-and-so person, but that's not true. They will be reading. I was convinced what Christine was saying today. So I feel that I'm from Scarborough Southwest. I'll be meeting her on Friday as well. And we'll be giving our full support for her. And we'll see what we can do. It all depends on us, the volunteers, how many members that we can bring, not how many members that we collect. We can collect thousands of members, but end of the day, how many members that we are going to be going to the polling station. That's the math that we had to learn, not about collecting the members. So I do trust how many people that I can take, convince them, not taking them, convince them what her policy, what she can do for Ontarians. First we got to think about Ontarians, not what she can do for the ethnic communities. So most people are disturbed by some of the front runners saying that what we can do for your community. I don't take that, because what I take, what we can do for each and every Ontarians who are living here. For example, I think 2 days back we had a man who was, I think he was a beggar. He just passed away. Why? Because we are in #1 in the world, and we have poverty. But I think that Christine can understand, since she said in one line that she had to get all the info from the members. So members are from each and every corner. So if she can hear those words from them, then I think that we can solve a lot of problems in the street and in the household, everywhere, each corner to corner in Ontario. So I do give my big support for Christine, and I'll be waiting for her, not waiting for her, I will be waiting for my turn to see how we can help her out to win. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Marlene. And first let me say, after a long day on the road, it's so wonderful to be here in such a warm, welcoming, inviting place. So Marlene, I can't thank you enough for your warm hospitality, for your family members as well, and I think we all join in thanking you for making this such a warm and wonderful, inviting evening. So thank you. And I think my son Galen would especially say it's really wonderful to have food on a regular basis. Galen, for those of you who have not met him, is one of my 3 sons who are 23, 23, and 23. And Galen apparently drew the short straw because he's the one that has to travel with me these days. So we're still talking to each other after about 3.5 months on the road. I'm not sure what it's going to be like in May, but so far so good. So it's great to be here with all of you, and to Peter and to Gila, I'd like to say thank you very much for your very kind words, for welcoming me into your riding, and for your incredible support. It's very, very much appreciated. And to all the councillors, elected members that are here, thank you so much for your kind words and for being here. And to all of you, thank you especially for just being here on such a cold night. It's wonderful that you came out to meet with me. I would be most grateful for your support, and I've really enjoyed having a chance to at least have a brief conversation with all of you. So I think this is a new start for us. 2014 was not a good year, let's face it. It was a bitter defeat for us, but I think we've turned the corner, and I really feel that 2015 is going to be a great year for us as PCs. We're going to start the whole process of rebuilding by the selection of the leader. I'm a little bit biased about who I want that to be, but I think we've got to start now to get ready to win the next election in 2018. Because as much as we want to win, and I think that's the ultimate goal, we have to win the next election, I really think Ontario needs us to win. We know what we're in economically. We're in a deep economic hole. We've got a situation where the Liberals have increased our deficit incredibly. They haven't decreased it. They've increased it from $12 to $12.5 billion. And we have a debt that's approaching $325 billion by 2018. It's incredible that we've gone into such economic decline since the Liberals took power. So we need to change that. The question is, what do we do? How do we change things from our last 4 election losses to be able to fight and win the next election? Well, having gone through almost all of the party consultations after the last election, I know that one thing we need to do is listen to our members. We need to start listening to our members and formulating policy, taking everybody's views into consideration, and not have policy being made by a small group of insiders who I'm pretty sure never knock on doors. Because if they did, they surely would not have come up with the 100,000 job cut plan, or the foreign workers plan, or a lot of the other things that we ran on and lost on. So we really need to reach out to all of our members and make sure everybody gets engaged in the next election. But as you know, our vote number count right now in terms of membership is only about 13,000 members. It's gone up a little bit because of this leadership campaign being underway, but it's a far cry from what it was under Mike Harris when it was about 100,000 members. We really need to expand beyond our base in order to be able to win the next election. So we need to reach out and build what I like to call the big blue tent. As Premier Davis had the big blue machine, I want to build the big blue tent, be open and inclusive, and make sure that everyone who shares our progressive conservative values is welcome to join us. A lot of people think that we're a very exclusive club, that we don't want other people to join us. We do. If anyone who shares our beliefs as progressive conservatives, they should come and join us. But we need to reach out too. We can't just sit back and wait for people to come to us. So we need to go out and start talking to groups that haven't particularly been amenable to us in the past. We still have a huge gender gap. There's still a lot of women that aren't voting for us. We have a lot of young people that aren't voting for us. We have a lot of cultural communities that we need to reach out to that haven't heard our progressive conservative message and feel that they're not included. And we also need to, I think, reach out to the labor movement. If not to say we agree with everything you're going to come up with, because I'm pretty sure we won't do that, but I think we declared war on both public and private sector unions the last time around, and then we seemed shocked at how ferocious they were in opposing us. I think we need to be a lot smarter about it. We can't overcome the Working Families Coalition, but what we do need to do is reach out to them and at least neutralize some of their bite, so that when the next election comes along, the union members can make their own decisions about us and see something that I think is going to be quite appealing, and that's how we're going to win. So the message to me needs to be, and I think Peter's talked about it too, is we need to stress the need to be fiscally responsible. First of all, first and foremost, we're not liberals. We don't spend money that we don't have. We live within our means, and we've got to dig ourselves out of this hole. whatever money we have left over, to me, needs to be spent on priorities. Not to be spent on canceling gas plants, on orange helicopters that don't work, on e-health systems that, although they're necessary, we're spending billions of dollars on them and we're nowhere near seeing them come to any kind of a working system. All of those things we need to look at and see, do we really need this? Are we really helping the people that we need to help? So to me, fiscal conservatism is our base, bedrock and our base, but why is that important? So that we can be socially compassionate. And the Liberals like to think that they have the handle on social compassion. They're the ones who care. We're mean-spirited. All we care about is money. Well, that's absolutely not the case, because if you look at what they're doing, when you spend $11 billion a year on interest payments on borrowed money, putting future generations like our children and our grandchildren into debt, I think that's morally bankrupt. That's not compassionate at all. So we need to be fiscally responsible so that we can be socially compassionate, so that we can reach out to those families that have a child with autism to make sure that they're going to get the programs and services that they need, so that we can speak to frail elderly seniors and make sure that they get the home care that they need, that they have the long-term care spaces that they need them at some point in their lives, to speak to the young people with intellectual disabilities to say, we're going to help you find a job. There's a job out there for almost everyone. Everyone has an ability. Everyone has a purpose in life and can do something. We want to take people out of a life of poverty off ODSP, but there's employers out there we need to speak to talk about how we can do that. We want to make sure that there's going to be a place for them that's going to be safe for them to live when their parents are no longer around. You'd be shocked to know how many parents over 80 are the primary caregivers for sons and daughters who have intellectual disabilities. They're hanging on by a thread, and this government is spending money on all kinds of things that aren't priorities. That's a priority to me, and that's what I want to talk about as a progressive conservative. We have a proud history of that. We shouldn't be ashamed of it. I think those have always been parts of what's important to our party, but we haven't talked about them. And when we do, I think that's going to be how we'll win in 2018. But in the end, of course, it's all going to come down to leadership. That's why we're here tonight. There's 5 of us in this race. I really believe that for us to get out of the fiscal hole that we're in, we really need to pick a leader that's going to have some kind of business experience. I practiced law for 20 plus years, and Catherine Zing, who I have the pleasure of working with and did work with in our law firm. Catherine is a wonderful lawyer with Flaherty, Dow, Elliott, McCarthy. That I do have that business experience as a partner in the firm to run a small business. I've also been the chair of an audit committee of a private trust company, so I have some financial experience. I think that's important as we go forward. I've also had a lot of volunteer experience, which is what got me into politics in the first place, working with people with special needs. And I think having that level of understanding of what families are struggling with is also important. So that's why I'm running, and I think that the challenge for all of us as members is to choose a leader that you think is going to be able to beat Kathleen Wynne, who has a vision that you can communicate effectively to people, and not just a vision, a plan to achieve that vision. Because it's enough to say, I'm going to create 1 million jobs, but you have to be able to know exactly how you're going to be able to do that. That's what I think we need to be talking about. That's what I'm bringing to the table. That's why I'm running, and that's why I would be very grateful for your support in the upcoming election.
One minute. Congratulations.
Thank you.